So, you've decided that you want to follow a vegetarian fertility diet. I get it. The popularity of plant-based eating is on the rise, and it can be a very healthy diet to eat when you're trying to conceive. But you'll need to ensure that you include these key nutrients. Stay tuned to hear how you need to tweak your vegetarian diet if you're trying to conceive. Hi, I'm Melanie McGrice, a fertility and prenatal dietitian. I help people get pregnant and have healthy babies through the power of good food. Now, I'd like to start by saying that a vegetarian diet isn't necessarily more or less healthy than an omnivorous diet. It depends on the foods that you choose. I've had plenty of vegetarian clients who fill up on soft drink and vegetarian potato chips. And following a vegetarian diet may mean that you have to be more conscious of meeting some key fertility nutrients. But on the positive side, it can be lower in bad fats and richer in plant foods, which is great for our fertility. So, what key nutrients do you need to be aware of? I've chosen 3 of the most important for a vegetarian fertility diet. Let's take a closer look. Now, firstly, omega-3. If you're a follower of my channel, you'll often hear me discussing the benefits of omega-3 for fertility, particularly for optimizing egg health and implantation. Fish is one of the best sources of omega-3, especially the long-chain omega-3 EPA, or eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, the docosahexaenoic acid. Now, if you follow a vegetarian diet, you should ensure that you consume plant-based omega-3 fatty acids on a daily basis. Plant-based omega-3, known as ALA or alpha-linoleic acid, are much higher than the long-chain omega-3. So aim for 5 grams of ALA every day. So some good vegetarian sources of these fats include flax seeds, leafy green veggies, soy products, walnuts and canola oil. Now, as a benchmark, 2 teaspoons of flaxseed oil will provide sufficient omega-3 fatty acids for most women who are trying to conceive. However, if you do choose to follow a vegetarian diet, I'd usually recommend a vegetarian omega-3 supplement as well. The next one is vitamin B12. A vitamin B12 deficiency may reduce your ability to conceive. Now, even though dairy foods and eggs are a rich source of vitamin B12, many women consuming a vegetarian diet have low vitamin B12 levels. Some people mistakenly believe that plant-based foods such as tempeh, sprouted beans, sea vegetables and algae are reliable sources of B12, but this is not the case. In fact, these foods may contain B12 analogues, which actually block vitamin B12 absorption. So if you are trying to conceive and following a vegetarian diet, I'd recommend asking your doctor for a vitamin B12 test and using injections to boost your levels if low, and then speaking to your dietitian about how to make sure that you do meet your vitamin B12 levels. Now, number 3 is choline. Choline is an essential nutrient that's critical for your baby's brain and spinal cord development. Research suggests that adequate intakes may help to reduce the incidence of neural tube defects. Furthermore, emerging research suggests that choline intake during pregnancy may impact cognitive development as your baby grows, including his memory and processing speed. So you can see how important it is when you're trying to conceive. Now, choline is found in high quantities in eggs, meat, fish, and milk. So, although it's also found in plant-based foods like lentils, tofu, nuts and seeds, it is much harder to meet the recommended levels. So, if you choose to follow a vegetarian diet, I'd recommend double checking that you're getting enough of this important nutrient. Now, these are not the only nutrients to look out for, but they're a really good place to start. If you do want to follow a vegetarian fertility diet, I'd recommend that you have a consultation with a fertility dietitian. I personally undertake digital consultations with clients from all around the world. So if you're interested, check out my details at melaniemcgrice.com. Alternatively, feel free to get in touch through Instagram or Facebook. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.